What if I told you that there's one thing that can help you feel younger, move better, boost your metabolism, protect your joints, and even extend your life? Would you believe me? Well, no, it's not some miracle pill or some 21-day cleanse. It's not cutting carbs or running yourself into the ground with cardio either. Although cardio, we know how helpful that can be. The truth is, it's muscle. Muscle is hands down the most underrated anti-aging tool we have. And after 40, it becomes absolutely essential to your quality of life, not just for looking fit, but for maintaining your strength, balance, independence, and even your metabolism. And yet most people overlook it, especially as they get older. So today, I want to have a conversation with you about why building and maintaining muscle after 40 is one of the best things you can do for your health, your longevity, and how to start doing it no matter where you're at. So let's do this. So let's start about what happens when we don't focus on muscle. There's a process, we call it sarcopenia. You may have heard this word before. It's essentially the age-related loss of muscle tissue. And listen to this, it can start as early as your mid-30s. So by the time you hit 40, you can lose up to 1% of your muscle mass every single year. In fact, studies typically show about 3 to 8% per decade. That's a little bit faster the older that we get. And if you're not actively working to maintain it, then that loss, it's not just about shrinking biceps or losing strength in the gym. It affects how you move, how you burn calories, how you balance, and how well protected your body is against injuries. So there's a little bit of a wild stat for you. By the time that most people reach 70, they've lost about 20 to 30% of their muscle mass if they've been inactive, if they're not doing structured resistance training, if they don't have that sort of routine in place. This means that simple things like getting out of a chair, climbing stairs, or the one that I like to use a lot, carrying groceries, becomes real challenges. And muscle, it's not just for athletes. It's not just for people chasing aesthetics. It is your functional foundation for life. And again, I don't want to underrate how big of an impact this has. Muscle and having it in your later years will change everything. So let's talk about the good news and the upside. Because while muscle loss, it is natural with age, it's also completely not just reversible, but also something that you can do at any age if you train consistently and smart. So muscle is one of the most powerful tools we have for aging well. And here's some of the reasons why. It helps with your metabolism. Muscle burns more calories at rest than fat. So even when you're sitting or sleeping, having more lean muscle mass helps to keep your metabolism higher. This means that it becomes easier to maintain your weight and harder to store excess fat. Now, I don't want you guys to think that by gaining a bunch of muscle, you are now going to be able to eat whatever you want. It is not the case. Different studies report different amounts of how big of effect this has on your health, okay? Another one of the benefits is blood sugar regulation. So some of these that I'm going to mention aren't exactly ones that might come to mind right away, but blood sugar regulation is a big one. Muscle helps to absorb and uptake that glucose in our blood, which supports insulin sensitivity. And this is huge for preventing and managing type 2 diabetes. Okay. Another benefit is improved balance and fall prevention. Now, especially as we get older, the risk of falling becomes more serious. Muscle, especially in your legs and core, helps to keep you stable, coordinated, and it literally protects your independence. And I just want to say that same thing. Having this muscle on your body, yes, it's going to help you to improve your balance and your fall prevention, but it is going to affect you in so many different ways that we don't always think about. It's going to also help you with your joint protection. Stronger muscles support and stabilize your joints, which means less strain on your knees, your back, your shoulders, less inflammation, less pain. And the last one that I kind of want to mention here is the mental health benefits. This is one of the ones that we don't always think about. And resistance training has been shown in multiple studies to reduce symptoms of depression and even anxiety. And there's something powerful about feeling strong, capable, and in control of your body. We all know how different we feel after we're done working out or exercising. All those different feel-good chemicals are being released. And it really does have an effect on the way we go about and the way that we think about the rest of our day. And finally, more muscle, it means more resilience. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what this is about. When you are strong, you're more resistant to illness, injury, and even hospitalization. So let's clear up a big myth. I know that was a lot that I just threw at you guys. And the big myth is that cardio alone is not enough. Cardio is great for your heart. It's great for your mental health and for building endurance, but it does not build muscle the same way as structured resistance training does. In fact, doing only cardio without resistance training can actually accelerate muscle loss if you do it in the wrong way, right? So there was a study that was published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, and they found that resistance training was far more effective than aerobic training alone at preserving lean muscle mass in older adults. Now, I will say there is a little bit of a very, very small caveat to this, okay? Now, when we talk about cardio as a whole, I also want to talk about sprint training, okay? Now, sprint training, whether it's on a bike, whether it's on land with running, this is one of the forms of cardio that will actually build muscle as well. Now, I think for most of the people listening to this show and to this podcast right now, sprinting isn't necessarily something that comes top of mind. It's not something that maybe everybody is capable of, and that is okay. All right. Structured resistance training, same thing, is going to give you all those different benefits that we're looking for when it comes to gaining muscle. And so I wouldn't necessarily put sprint training at the very top of the list. Okay. So what does this all mean for you? It means that if you're walking every day, that is amazing. Give yourself a pat on the back, because that is something that a lot of people don't do enough of. If you're doing yoga, cycling, swimming, again, great. Keep those things in your routine. But we cannot and we should not skip out on strength work. It's not optional after 40. It is absolutely essential. So how do we actually build muscle after 40? Well, first of all, yes, you can build muscle at any age. You don't need to be 25 or a gym rat. You need a smart, consistent plan that matches with where you're at right now. So here's some of the things that I've found that work best. Training 2 to 3 to 4 times per week. You don't need to train every day, but you do need regular progressive resistance training. And if you are just starting out in the new program, Blakey Breakthrough, a group program that I'm launching online, we're about 3 weeks into the program right now, and everybody in that program has been absolutely killing it. But I want to kind of give some quick advice here for you that are listening to this right now. If you are starting out with strength training, I typically recommend starting it with twice a week. The reason for this is because, again, when we look at fitness training and making sure that it's sustainable, making sure that it's something that you can stick with for life, we don't want to throw too much too quickly at you. So I find that by starting out with twice a week, it's something that fits into your current schedule until we can kind of reshape things a little bit. But it's enough that you can get the positive benefits that we're looking for without feeling like you're changing everything all at once. Okay. Another thing that I found that works really well with people over 40 is using full body movements, prioritizing exercises that work multiple muscles at once. Squats, rows, different push-ups, whether that's against a wall or on an incline or on a couch, deadlifts, presses. These give you the best return on your time. Okay. Again, the important thing is that you're doing these with perfect form or very, very near to it. So if you're somebody who is, doing squats or deadlifts, same thing, just make sure that you really watch your form, because these are the exercises where things can kind of get a little bit more technical. Another thing that works really, really well for people over 40 to build muscle is ensuring that they're lifting with intention. What on earth does that mean? It means that you don't necessarily need to go to failure every set, but you should be challenging yourself. The last 2 to 3 reps, they should feel tough, but doable. Again, form comes first, okay? So if that means that you're doing higher reps and, maybe by the end, you don't feel all beat up, which is completely fine. We don't judge the effectiveness of a workout program by how beat up we feel. We track our numbers and we ensure that our numbers and our weights are going up over time. But I just want to say that when you're first starting out, ensure that you are leaving some in the tank, because again, you're focusing so much on form starting out. And once you've mastered that form, once you've got the solid movement patterns that you need to stay safe in the gym or working out at home, then that's when you can start to challenge yourself even a little bit more. But again, you need to get those fundamentals. You need to get that foundation built. And that comes with starting by focusing on your form, whether that is, recording yourself on your phone and checking out your form and critiquing yourself, or hiring a trainer to do that for you. But either way, you really need to ensure that form is at the very forefront of your radar. Another thing that we really need to focus on when it comes to building muscle after 40 is prioritizing recovery. After 40, recovery matters even more. Sleep, stress, hydration, they all impact how well our muscles are able to rebuild and heal themselves, right? So I guess I want to kind of really leave with one thing, and I would always say arguably this is the most important thing, is that you need to be patient. Building muscle takes time, but if you stay consistent, the rewards go far beyond the mirror. And so we're going to kind of progress things a little bit right now. And so let's talk a little bit about what you need to track. To make your progress stick, I highly, highly recommend tracking it. It's how we ensure that you're getting stronger, ensures that you're progressing as planned. So some of the ways you can do that is by writing down your weights, your sets, and your reps, right? Using some sort of tracker. I have a paper version, so you can DM me on Instagram at @IamAndrewBlakey. Just let me know that you want that tracker and I'll send that over to you, no problem. Another thing you can do is take monthly photos, right? To see how your body is changing. Another thing you can do is log how you feel energy-wise, right? Again, if you've got a notebook, then you can kind of log it day by day and see how your energy is changing over time. And lastly, you can note how your clothes fit and how your strength improves in everyday life. These are all ways to create real-world proof that what you're doing is working, and that keeps you motivated when the scale doesn't move or when you start to doubt yourself. Okay, so the bottom line for all of this conversation today is that muscle is your anti-aging armor. It's not about chasing abs. It's about being strong enough to live life on your terms, to pick up your grandkids, to get up off the ground without help, to carry groceries without breaking a sweat, to age with confidence, strength, and freedom. And it's never too late to start. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to go all in tomorrow, but you need to start where you are and you need to keep showing up, because every rep, every workout, every protein-rich meal, they all add up, and you'll thank yourself 10 years from this very moment for the effort that you've put in today. So if this episode hits home for you, do me a favor, share it with somebody you care about, someone who needs to hear that it's not too late to take control of their health. And if you want help to get started, I do run a program called the Blakey Breakthrough. It is a 12-week program, all online, where there are live workouts, there's Q&As, there's 2 discussions every week where I'm teaching you more about the things that you need to know when it comes to having a sustainable fitness routine. And the next program starts in February. So you can head on over to blakeybreakthrough.com. The waitlist is now open. Now, invitations, because this program is capped, they go out in chunks, okay? So the sooner that you sign up for the waitlist, the more likely that you're going to be able to get in there. So thanks for tuning in today. And now go lift something. Your future self is waiting for you. And again, just be patient with yourself, because this isn't something that comes easy to everybody. It is challenging. It is hard to make change. And I realize that, and I hope that you realize that too. So give yourself some grace, and thanks for tuning in this week. So next week, we got an amazing episode coming out with another fantastic guest. Same thing, make sure that you follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast so that you never have to miss another episode again. Until next week, this is Andrew Blakey, and this is The Aging Grace.